I'd like to spend a little time examining the example on the assignment. When you open the example, you'll see a history of Monopoly game board. At first glance, this just looks like a picture. However, this is what's known as an interactive poster. What that means is that there's certain areas on the board that when you click on them, they will take you to other places. Like for example, when you look at the Holland Tunnel example on the board, you will see a little arrow that says click here. When you click on it, it then takes you to a YouTube video that talks about the Holland Tunnel. Also, I went ahead and made this picture interactive as well. That talks about the history behind Monopoly. Also, you'll see a History of Monopoly title across the top. In order to create that, I had to use what's known as a text box. So let me show you a little bit more in detail how I made all of this happen. So when you first open Google Drawings, you'll see a blank canvas that looks like this. The first thing that you'll want to do is title your drawing. Once you are done doing that, you can begin adding images to the canvas. There are several different ways you can upload images. You can upload images from your computer itself, or you can search the web for pictures as well. Also, if you have photos on Google Drive, or you save them in Google Photos, or if you have a URL of a photo from the web, you can add those as well, or you can just take a picture. In this case, to find the images that I needed, I used Search the Web. When you use Search the Web, Google Images will open up. The nice thing about using Google Images here is that any image that's added or that appears on here, you can use legally without the repercussions of being fined. So, the first thing I did was I looked for Monopoly game boards. And you can see any of the images that are on here I can use. In order to use the image, all you need to do is select which image you want to use and then click Insert. Now you have the board. However, the board here is different than the board that I used for my example. But this is just to show you an example. Now, if you noticed, the canvas on here is actually bigger than the actual board itself. We can actually clear that canvas out by just bringing it in. So to keep things moving along, I went ahead and added the game board that I had in the example. Also, I inserted the image that I had in the example as well. So the next thing I'm going to show you is how to make these images interactive. So what we need to do is first highlight what it is that we want to make a hyperlink to. So in this case, we'll use this picture. In order to create the link is very simple. Just click on the little insert link button here. You can also find it on insert as well. So if you click insert link on the bar, you can go ahead and copy and paste the link for the video that you want to use. So to find the video is simple. Just open a new tab and go to YouTube. In this case, I wanted to find the history of Monopoly. So once you find the video that you want to use, go ahead.
The board game Monopoly has been around.
And then copy the URL. You can copy the URL here, or you can also do it from share. Just copy the link. Now, you'll go back to your game board and insert the link. Click apply, and now your YouTube video is added. So this next part gets a tiny bit more tricky. So in the example, you saw that there was a link to the Holland Tunnel. But if you notice, when I inserted the image, the entire image itself is the game board. So how was I able to make this one area a link without having to do the entire board? Well, it's really simple actually. All you need to do is go up to the bar to shapes. As you'll see that there are several different types of shapes here that you can use. To actually make the board itself interactive, or parts of the board interactive, all you needed to do was click a shape. So if it's a rectangle, use a rectangle, or whatever it is that's closest to it. Go ahead and click. And now take and highlight over the game board piece. So if you notice, now the Holland Tunnel part of the board is completely covered with a fill. Well, in order to make it so that you can see it, go ahead and click Fill Color and click Transparent. Now, when you move out of the way, you will see that the thing itself is now available to be a link. So in order to do that, it's just the same as when we did the link for this one. Go ahead and click. Find the YouTube video that you want to use. And once again, choose your video. Copy the URL. Click link. Paste. And apply. So now you have a section of the game board that is now interactive. Another thing to keep in mind, you can also make the outline transparent as well. As you see with the Holland Tunnel link, you will see the black box that goes around it. You can actually remove that. All you need to do is click, highlight the box, go to Border Transparent. And then once you click out of that, you will see that it has now been completely removed. So, next let's look at inserting the arrow. Once again, we go to shapes. For arrows, click the one you want to use. Make it the color that you want. Put an outline around it if you like. Determine the thickness of the border that you want. And there's your arrow. So, now you need to put some information with this arrow so your students know what to do with it. This is where text boxes come in. So all you need to do is click on text box and put where you want to put your text. So as you can see, this right here is very, very large. So we need to narrow this down. So what I'm wanting to do is put click here in this box right here. So what you do is you reshape it enough to where it will fit inside the arrow. And there you go. The last part is the title. Once again, use a title box and place it where you want to place the title. In this case, I just made a box that went from end to end on the board. Now for the actual text itself, I used history of Monopoly. Now as you can see, that's very hard to see and very small. So let's go ahead and change this up a little bit. I use the lobster font. Make it to the size that you want. I would like it in the center, so we've now moved it to the center. Now you can see that I have the title up here and it's nice and big. The only problem is with the background behind it, it actually makes it a little bit difficult to see. This is where filling in your text box with color can really help make your letters pop. So in order to do that, highlight the text box. Let's go ahead and put a fill color in there. For the example, I went ahead and used that bright green I liked. And also, I went ahead and put a border on it as well. I made that border black. And then go ahead and put a little bit of thickness in there as well. So what we'll probably do is bring this down just a little bit. And there you go. Your interactive game board is now created. So before we look at the task, there's one more thing I'd like to show you. In the very beginning, when we looked at the example, you'll notice that the board itself is just completely the board. All the edit features of Google Drawings are not there. To me, this is the cleanest look that you could possibly present to your students. And I'm going to show you how to do it. So once again, when you go to the actual Google Drawing canvas itself, you'll see all the edit features that are on here. Unfortunately, when you share this with students, they will see the exact same thing. Even when you set it up on view only mode, they'll still see the little edit features on the actual canvas. So what we're trying to do is eliminate the canvas altogether. And this is how you do that. What you'll do is click Share. Just like with your assignments, you'll want to go ahead and do Get Shareable Link. Go ahead and do the drop down. Go ahead and click More. And on this one, what you want to do is click On for public on the web. Unlike your assignments where you do anyone with the link, on this one, you'll want to do public on the web. After that gets done, you'll click Save. And just like with the link, you'll copy the link, click Done. So now that you've copied the link, let's go ahead and go to a new board. A new tab, and then copy and paste the URL into the Omnibox. Hit Enter. So if you notice, once again, the edit features of the canvas are now present. Let's go ahead and get rid of the edit. To do that, you'll see at the very end of your URL something that says Edit. What you want to do is delete that and replace it with Preview. Once you do that, it eliminates all the edit features, and now you have just the board itself. And all the features that are on it are now interactive. If you notice on these, on the interactive parts, when you click on them, they don't bring the preview. It takes you right
Monopoly has been around for a very long time
to the video. So when you guys submit this to your students, or even when you submit this on Blackboard to me, this is the URL you'll want to send, is the one that has preview on the end. Once again, just to make sure that we have this. If it says edit on here, delete edit and replace it with preview.